Thank you, and thank you to my esteemed panel today. And we've heard a lot in the last few years about omnichannel, unified commerce, seamless terms we all hear time and time again. In this session, what we're going to do is explore the art of seamless retail and really delve into how customer experiences are changing, how their expectations are changing, and hear from our panel on real-life stories from their transformation efforts. What's gone well, what hasn't gone so well, what have they learned, and what advice would they give to everybody in the room? So to kick things off, let's go to our first discussion point. So we know, and we've studied this, in various reports, for example, Unicommerce saying over 55% of Middle East customers, they understand omnichannel, and they prefer to shop from retailers who offer them an omnichannel experience. So maybe if I could come to Aurelien first, what do you think omnichannel or unified commerce means to the customer, and how have you seen their expectations change?
Thank you so much for the question. Thank you so much for the organizer of this event and for hosting us and having me and us. So honestly, I'm not sure that there is a deep difference between omnichannel and unified commerce. For me, it's more rebranding, but I think that it's because we didn't have the right mindset first with omnichannel. So for many years, we had only one channel in silo. It could be e-com, it could be the store. Then we tried to have the multi-channel, and then the omnichannel, making sure that you have full visibility mainly on your stock, if it's in the warehouse, the distribution center, or the store. But I think that now people are realizing, and I think this is why this terminology of unified commerce is coming, this rebranding is needed. It's really that whatever the channel we are going to have, and we have seen a lot of changes in the last 10 years in technology, much more than in the last 30. So I think that whatever the channels, and today we are talking about social commerce, communication commerce, clienteling. It could be also a WhatsApp discussion that can go to a sale. Whatever the channel, this is anecdotic. Channel is not anymore something which is really important in the discussion. What is important is how you can be unified. Whatever the channel you are going to add or not, how you can make sure that first, the experience that your customer is going to live will be the same across all your channels, and that you can capture everything on your customer, so customer data and purchasing data, to make sure that this experience will be seamless for your customer and seamless for you as a retailer or a D2C brand to capture all those information and get the most of it to be able to take strategic decision moving forward with this specific audience of customer.
Amazing. And if I could maybe come to Taifan, I think you've helped lots of organizations with their omnichannel experiences and transformations. What do you see from all those companies you've worked with? Where is the customer going?
So thank you very much. A great honor to be with these distinguished guests and speakers today. Actually, we started this journey with single channel, then multi-channel, and then omni-channel. So as you said, also channel is not the important thing. The important is unifying these channels and also having a seamless experience for the customer. So what is the customer experience? Let me give my experience as a customer. So before I go on holiday, I was shopping a t-shirt and simple short, and I put the order. I thought that I lost significant weight. I decided on the new size, but then I said, let me go and try this size in the store. I went to the store. I said, let me try a bigger size. Unfortunately, my size was bigger, so I didn't lose that much weight. I wanted to finish the basket, and I said to the guy in the store, this is my basket, can you please finish the order? I want to change the size, and it didn't have. He said, I don't see your basket. So the reality is the customer experience and what I'm going to do at this point of time. So as Akinon, as an e-commerce, as a unified commerce provider, we really integrate all these front-end channels with the back-end system seamlessly, and we give one single platform and one seamless experience to our customers by consolidating all these channels with products, with customer interactions and payment systems. It's not only the products, or it's not only the payment system, it's also the experience on the checkout. It's about fulfillment also. It's not about only the products. So it's a complete experience that you have to provide. That's why we built a composable, a unified, and headless commerce architecture that we can give any kind of flexibility to our customers, either B2C, B2B, or marketplaces, wherever they want to be, or integrate to any marketplaces. We give this flexibility to our customers. And we do it with the fastest time to market. Unified commerce is the new trend we see, and I'm happy to be together with Mr. Sedat. Flormar is one of our customers implementing unified commerce, and we are expanding them to now 40 countries globally.
Great.
Maybe you will tell about the experience also, Sedat.
Great, and I think that what you mentioned about the end-to-end capabilities is critical, and we're gonna come to in a minute. But if I could just come to Mark, great brand, new brand with a great purpose. You know, what are you seeing your customers expecting?
Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard of the Given movement, and that's primarily because we've been an online brand, and we kind of, I would say, took the pioneer approach of social marketing, where I'm sure many of you probably, even as early as just today, you've probably seen our ads everywhere. We go hard and fast a lot on social commerce and trying to create that desire that brings, I mean, we're a fashion business, so you have to create a desire to buy our brand. Our brand is what we like to call a bridge brand. So we're not quite high-end luxury, we're also not low-end as well. So typically our customers are buying luxury items, and then they come to us to wear their every day, or they're wearing below our brand in terms of price, and they're coming to us for what they want to wear at the weekend. So we have to create a luxury experience. So we've done a really good job of that, I would say, online with the social kind of discovery touch points. And but in the last year, we realized that, you know, online cannot be our only channel, and do we just have yet another way of doing business, or do we try and create something that's unified? And that's kind of what we're talking about today, is that if we were going to go into retail, which we recently have, how would we merge that luxury experience? And so while a lot of people are looking into AI this, and how do we enhance the experience, because we sit in between that luxury experience, we really want the human touch point to be a big focal point. And that includes when they come to our store, they're able to kind of show us images of the stuff that they've seen online, and we could help them to match products in the store. And so we've been building some technology in the background so that even though the human touch point works very well for this kind of explain your desire and we will find the right outfit for you, we also know that humans make mistakes, and we kind of want to benefit from a digital, like we do a lot of personalization online. How do we bring that personalization into the store? And so our customers are looking for that personal experience, both online and offline, which is tricky because you can oversell, and so you really want to kind of be in that fine space where the customer comes first, and if they don't want to buy the stuff and they want to go and shop around somewhere else in the mall, like let them be. Typically, and I think a few panelists have been talking about this already today, typically your store, while it might not be your biggest selling point, is about building the brand, is about people touching the clothes and understanding what fits them, what they like. And later on, they may buy online, or they may shop somewhere else in store. So it's really customer first, and making sure that your customer, which in our case is a luxury shopper, gets the right experience they deserve, either online or offline.
That's great, and I think you make an excellent point, and nobody can dispute the power of social media in the purchasing decision.
Yeah.
and influencing, and you know we'll come on to a little bit about that later on. And you know, many of our panel, they've spoken already about how you need to bring together an amazing front-end experience, and that front-end could be a website or a store or an app, together with a really powerful back-end capability. So if I could maybe come to Jonathan, how are you as a business innovating your seamless experiences and bringing together this front-end and back-end capability to respond to these changing demands of the customers?
Thank you, Sunny. I think as an online and offline retailer, right, it's very important to always start from the why. Why do we do what we do? And really coming from a deep place of trying to solve a consumer problem. Today, people are flooded with ads, products, offering, channels, and too often we are trying to force-feed products into customers' mind or throats. Ultimately, we're here into that abundance of messaging, products, and offering. What is the added value to the business, right? Most of the time, it's the product. That started to change. A recent study from Tabby saying that 55% of the purchase decision is relying on the product. The rest is the experience. And the experience is vast. And I believe offering a great experience and taking into consideration the lack of time from customers. We talk about seamless a lot, fine, which is essentially an absence of friction and absence of frustration as well. So the best seamless experience is actually the transparency of the experience. When the customer feel that they barely started that purchase journey, it's already finished and the product is at their doorstep, right? This is the best experience you can offer. The quickest and the fastest way to get a refund or return a product as well is very, very critical. I tried recently Temu to buy random things because that's what they have. One item was missing out of the order. And as much as the app is pretty amazing and seamless, I couldn't find a way to indicate that one item was missing from my order out of the online app. And I had to go using my desktop. That was extremely frustrating because the most perfect your proposition become, the more any issue is going to be highlighted and extremely frustrating because that's stopping your entire purchase or return journey, right? The return itself from the desktop experience went through bots, and it was pretty amazing. Took me 15 seconds to get the missing item reshipped, but nevertheless, that part was really a problem.
Yeah, no, I think you make some fantastic points, and I think, you know, when customers don't have to think about the shopping experience, that's when you know you're succeeding. And maybe if I can come to Ishan, you know, a different category to Jonathan, a lot of electronics and consumer electronics. What are you innovating? What initiatives have you got in place at Sharaf to drive this omni-channel or unified experience?
Thanks, Sunny. Beautiful question. Being on the consumer side and being on the producer side as well, we have to think from both the angles and what fit best for your business. Sharaf Retail, we are a fashion house. We do fast fashion, and we are also a bridge brand, how the gentleman explained, right? So we have to be the right place at the right time. We switch the fashion every 45 days. Catering to these kind of demands, there are two things which are very important for us. One is supply chain, and second is planning. So using the Gen AI technologies and new assistive technologies, we have come up with a few of the things which require a lot of change into the technology side. Doing the planning at the right time and getting the right kind of a data is important. At the same time, processing that data and changing it to the right information is also important. A data as a set does not mean anything to you unless you can derive information out of it, right? And use it for your own purposes. That is from the side where the technology comes in. Now, there is, for this year and going forward, the focus is majorly on the consumer knowledge and consumer focus. From the consumer point of view, you have seamless check-in. We are upgrading our applications. We are upgrading our backend for the applications so that they can have a seamless experience from a brick and mortar to the omnichannel journey, where they have we have the customers on the apps and e-commerce platform. When they come to the store, they should not feel that they're there for the first time. People in the store, they know who they are. People in the store, they know what their history of the shopping is. Our team in the store, they can assist them in the same way how they're looking for on an e-com platform. So that omnichannel platform is something which we're trying to create now. This is a 5X program which we're running in the organization,
for every
which will help
accolade,
us
every cheer.
in providing
They
that
fuel our passion year
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I think it added some more flair to it, yeah.
I think they were looking for the clapping
Yeah,
sound, isn't it?
maybe, yeah. So, yeah, so that is what the consumer focus technologies we're trying to bring in. Seamless checkout is what we're talking about, is something which is there powered by the RFID. So you can actually order online and then collect it at store. Just like click and collect is something which is very basic nowadays. When we get a pizza in 30 minutes, and then it is very much expected to deliver something in 15. The fashion retail should have that capability of doing that. Noon is already doing it. In 15 to 18 minutes, you get everything done. So these are basic requirements for the consumers nowadays. Even if they go to a store, primarily being into the region for the past 30 years, we are mostly focused on the brick and mortar model. So now the thinking is changing. We have all seen how COVID hit and what was the best channel to sell at that point of time. So we are trying to emerge out of it now and then creating into omni-channel platform.
Great, and you make some really, really great points, which we're now going to deep dive into a little, because behind all these omni-channel experiences, you need and all of us who've been in retail for a long time know how difficult it is to get some of these enablers in place. So I just want to deep dive into some of those a little bit. And the first one, Bappa, if I can come to you, is around inventory. So we know, a lot of things that Ishan talked about and the other panelists are around having inventory visibility, having inventory accuracy to enable journeys like buying online and pick up in store or reserve in store. So what are you doing in your business in Brands for Less to improve inventory management and visibility and accuracy, not just for customers, but also for the staff in stores?
Thanks, Sunny, for the question. So Brands for Less, as we know, right, we are an off-price retailer. So more than the depth, we focus on the width. So it's bulk purchase, it's based on deals, and it's always a treasure hunt experience for the customers in the store. So it's not that we buy a certain size profiles with a certain quantities with a defined depth which gets planned, right? So for us, it's like the average number of pieces is probably 5, sometimes probably 2. Probably it's like 5,000 sometimes. So for us, inventory is very, very critical. Now, when we promise inventory from the warehouse, today we actually ring fence that inventory for online, for our online business. Now, we are moving towards a single view of inventory where we have a common pool of inventory both for retail and for the online space. And that's on the cards. And we are actually in the process of implementing a more robust order management system and a more modern warehouse management system where we can actually enable the single view of inventory. So that's from a warehouse perspective. And of course, all the things that goes along with it, like the watermark level, the exposure of the inventory to online as a preference, and then when it goes below the watermark level, you cut off you cut off retail and make the remaining available only for online, right? But at the stores, there's a challenge, and the challenge is the depth. We don't have the depth. So if a customer's, like most of the queries we get in our call centers is, hey, online, I like this product, so which store can I go and try? Now, of course, we know that there are 2 pieces in the store, and by the time you go there, it might not be there. So, there's a challenge for us in terms of exposing store inventory and even telling the customer if a product is in the store. So for that, we have implemented RFID. So 90% of the products are RFID enabled. We do have RFID enabled checkouts. We are implementing the store processes, DC processes to improve the accuracy. So in future, what we plan to do is we would have certain categories and subcategories where we will expose the stock from the stores, not every category. And for those categories, of course, there will be a certain threshold. So if you have like 10 pieces, we'll of course not promise all the 10 pieces to the customer online. We'll probably show them 3 or 4. And then we also have to invest a lot on the store process. So if a customer has actually reserved something online to pick up in the store, or an inventory which is supposed to be fulfilled from the store, we immediately go and use technologies, like we have Geiger count technologies, which are more driven by RFID, a proper layout of the store, the floor plan of the store, where the store staff knows within 5 minutes that this product is there, and it goes and picks that product and reserves it for the customer or fulfills to the customer. So these are the different initiatives that we are taking.
And could I ask, Bappa, so you're going through this journey now. What would be your top tip to anybody in the room who's thinking about or just embarking upon this journey?
I think the top tip is establish your inventory processes well, the DC processes, the store processes, and have an order management system which can cater to real-time changes in the inventory positions in calculating the demand and supply, as well as the back end of the e-commerce engine, where inventory needs to be persisted and it needs to be replenished from the order management system on a need basis. So always try to establish that balance, that you don't want to expose everything as available to promise, as well as you don't want to undercut and show it to the customers. And another thing which we have to do essentially is when we are showing products on the listing page, we have to know that the customers, like his size are like a wear shirt of 42 or a wear trouser, whatever it is. So the rankings on the search will have to follow that priority.
Right.
You don't want to go and search where the top 5 products don't have your size and you're like off the conversion.
Great. I think lots of good tips there for anybody embarking on this. And I think linked to inventory is also having a robust supply chain to enable these omni-channel experiences. And maybe if I could come to Siddharth as a brand, as Flormar, what have you done and what advances have you made in your supply chain? I think you supply, you also have stores to enable unified commerce.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. This is such a privilege. I represent the brand. Flormar is a cosmetic company. We are actually producing our own products within our own factories. We have presence at 40 countries as e-commerce, and we have physical stores in 70 plus countries with the wholesale over 100,000 points. So if you're looking at an operation that big, I think supply chain plays an enormous role in this, as you know. And I think I can say 2 things, especially since we're talking digital today. The new terminology, which is digital shelf availability, is something that so many people need to be so careful about. What we do is actually we sell beauty, we sell cosmetics. We have one job, which is actually uplift women's mood with color and the trend. So we have to listen to our consumers very closely to understand what they want and what product they need to be able to get a hold of. So if you think about it, digital availability in the wholesale points, in marketplaces, in stores is very important. And the journey starts with in our stores. Once they visit any store, the relationship between products, I was actually at an event in New York in the beginning of January, the big talk was still retail stores. Gen Z is talking about retail stores. The experience is still there. So we see customers coming to our physical stores, so the availability and the new trendy products being there is so important. And then actually having that journey, taking them with us. We have an application where we track our customers through our loyalty system, where we can actually show them the products they see online, and then close the gap is really important. Our online technologies are powered by Akinon. We have been working with them since the beginning of 2022, and we see that actually when a customer is looking for a product, even if it's for replenishment, if the product is not there, the loyalty goes down and you miss the customer to some other brand, and that's very easy.
Yeah.
So to be able to see that, I think one of the challenges is find the trendy products on shelf as soon as possible and when they want it and how they want it. And again, with the whole marketplace and wholesale points of view, it's really hard. One thing I can suggest, I know so many people are listening today, is one thing we have been doing recently is reviews. We have been very carefully following the reviews. I heard this from somewhere, stars were yesterday, but actually literally listening to the reviews of consumers and understanding what they want from the product and if there is a newer version of they want a new color or whatever, so we take an action. And whenever we have a new launch that is actually in somewhere, if the product is performing less than 3.5 stars, we take them off the shelves and understand what's wrong with the product. So back to the supply chain question, I think it's definitely an essential part of the whole operation, as we all know. And we still think that retail store availability for experience is there, but we're trying to make this whole journey more digitalized as much as possible.
Great, and very interesting you said that, new generations are coming back into the store, and I wanted to pick this point up with Aurélien next in terms of, people overhype the death of the store. What do you think the role of the store is going forward? We've heard a lot about this thing called showrooming, for example. What is your view?
So our group, Chaloup Group, is a creator of luxury experience since 70 years. We have 8 own brands, and we have more than 300 partners. Most of them are coming from the world of LVMH. So in our case, for sure, there is no plan at all that the store becomes a showroom, right? Today, the majority of our revenue still is done through the retail store, 85%, versus online. Even the online is growing year on year, and we invest a lot, and we believe that it's a digital transformation which is needed for our group. The retail store are extremely important for us because it's focused on the experience. The challenge that we have is to reproduce this experience online or through any channels. That's the challenge that we have today. But for sure today, the store that we have, they are a big store, right? A lot of square meters. And we put a lot of people there, and we want really to create this experience. So if I can just connect it to what has been said on supply chain, then supply chain for us becomes much more important than inventory. Inventory, it's a second step, but supply chain, we need to be extremely strong because we have to be very tactical in the way we are shipping any product from Paris, Milan, or the US, or wherever in the world our partners are based. Having the right hub, the right location, it could be Riyadh, it could be Jeddah, it could be Dubai and Jebel Ali, and then make sure that we are extremely good in the replenishment. On our side, we need to make sure that we have the right stock, wherever the stock is. It could be in the distribution center, it could be in the stores. In all the region, we need to have this full visibility real time. That will be the game changer for us to avoid to lose the sales because we have very expensive products. The average order value we have for our brand is very high. So we're not going to ship hundreds of bags of the same SKU. It doesn't make sense for us. Yeah. So that's why all the data that we collected before and all the analysis that we are doing are extremely paramount for us to make sure that we can achieve our targets every year.
Yeah. And critical point again on the D word, data, which I wanted to come on to next actually. And Jonathan, we know that, in all of these experiences, we've talked about inventory and supply chain, etc., but they all rely on data and customers obviously as well. So, what are the key challenges you're finding with data access? How are you overcoming them?
Good question. So data is everywhere, and it's also everything. Content is data, and text is data, and image is data. Customer information is a lot of data. First challenge is the accuracy of it. Actually, before that is the acquisition of it. So I think today most of online or offline actors are crawling under data. So there is a first challenge on storage costs. That would be a first challenge. Even though the costs are going down, it's still becoming a challenge because we acquire more and more data. So it's not always offset by the decrease of cost of storage. So acquiring that data is one thing, processing that data is something else. Understanding the data is a whole different world, specifically where the data sanity or integrity is not always guaranteed. So we have countless examples where people are using a data which is not accurate. So I would say the first challenge is to build a team that can verify the integrity of that data, from an article master to a product data which is getting enriched in a PIM, a product information management, And that is exactly the same with customer data. Multiple profiles, which could be troubleshooted with customer data platform and profile stitching. Once you're sure that you have a data that you can trust, you need to action it. So once again, I think it's very important to see the end goal of it. We most of the time want too much data, and once we have it, we don't know what to do with it. So it's always better to start small, build a use case, and acquire not too much data, but just the data we want to consume and we want to utilize because we will have a very good use case. After that, we can look at extra sources of data and the tools which are going to be utilized to leverage that data. Same thing with tools. A tool is just a tool. As equivalent to people's iPhone or Android phones, what's the percentage of functionality that you're utilizing out of the phones is the same with a tool that leverages data, right? So too often we jump from one platform to another or from one tool to another because we believe it's a magic wand, while we are not utilizing more than 5 to 15% of the previous tool, right? So it's really important to see that end-to-end. What is the requirement? How much the data can be trusted? And what we want to achieve with that data.
I think some excellent points, and I'm sure all our panelists have hit some of those same challenges and trying to work their way through. And we know also, in the loyalty area, data is critical. But we know also loyalty, and we've talked about it, is a huge driver of lifetime value. So from the data you capture around your customers, what insights are you getting which is helping to shape your omni-channel experiences? Maybe I could come to Mark. Right? What are you seeing from your data that is helping you drive your next generation experience?
Yeah, so again, because we're a mono brand, we're manufacturing and selling our own product. We sell it in a way that we want it to be sold, but yet we learn from ways that people buy as well. So we have a situation right now where you probably notice a lot of people when they buy our stuff, they buy matching sets. And that was no coincidence. We seen a pattern in the data, and we, of course, jumped right on top of that insight, and now we kind of show these sets in a certain way to a certain audience. But also, taking that to retail is what we found is it isn't so popular in retail to actually buy matching sets. So I guess it's what what we're displaying online and how we position the merchandise in the store makes a big difference. So we tend to, while we combine the data from both offline and online, we also separate the insights because it's slightly different. The customer experience is just slightly different enough that the way that they shop in the store and the way that they shop online, the touch points that they see before they come to the store and before they shop online can be different. And so we merge the data together, and we have challenges with that as well. It's actually quite difficult to actually get data when you're working in retail as well. It's challenging that customers don't always want to give us certain data, and obviously we need to ask permission in this case. We do find a lot of insights that are different across both channels, and we definitely take that with kind of say ethical sense, so that we don't want to use the data from online to then market to them in store and things like this as well. So we try and separate the characteristics of that data as well to make sure that we do right by our customers and give them the experience they deserve.
I think a really great example of where the behavior is different between channels, and you responding differently to give people what they want wherever they're shopping. I think it's a fantastic example. Maybe you think we're running out of time now, but maybe we talked about social commerce a little earlier, and there are some reports, Forbes for example, where they're saying in the next few years it's going to reach $2.9 trillion globally in terms of retail going through social commerce. Aurélien, how do large-scale retailers such as yourself with multiple brands in the luxury space, how do you build this into your unified experience?
Very, very good question. So of course you cannot ignore social commerce. We have strong partnership with the main actor, the TikTok, the Snapchat, the Google, the Meta of this world. But I think that it's evolving so fast that we should step back, right? For me, it's not about social commerce, it's more about communication commerce. Because on top of any social media, there is a lot of tool now that you can use to communicate with any of your customers. So I think that the same guiding principle should apply, which is a way to be able to communicate, to be relevant in your communication, be relevant in your targeting, adapt your communication to the audience that you have, and make sure that there is consistency across all your different communication, whatever the channel it's using. And the reality is that today, social commerce is extremely important, and we have strong partnership with them at a regional and at a global level as well. But technology is evolving so fast that I prefer to keep it as communication commerce, because I don't know what will happen in 3 years, right? Maybe it will be a new social media tool, or maybe it will be a new communication tool that we have no idea. With also all the evolution of hardware, I mean, we just have now the Apple Vision Pro. This is making us asking a lot of questions of what will be the future of our experience, how we'll have to partner with hardware, software, apps, and any of those current players. So we know that some player will win, some will lose, a new player will come, so we have to be ready and keep in mind the customer experience, and the communication consistency.
Great, and I think on that note, we do not know what's in store for the next 3 years, but our panel have shown us they're taking some great actions to really transform their businesses and the experiences for their customers. So firstly, thank you very much to our panel of esteemed guests. Thank you for listening, and thank you Retail Images ME for hosting this conference.